You know what? I wanted to try to make this perfect, and I wanted to try to be in a pretty background, and I wanted to try to be in a decent background. But you know what? This is my life, and this is what I have to work with, so I'm just gonna go with it. Hello, guys. My name is Emily Botnick. Thank you for clicking on this video if you're new, and if you're not new, thank you for the continued support. Today is March 11th, 2020, and it is CP Awareness Month, the month of March. So I figured today that I will talk about my cerebral palsy story. Just about my life and like where I've been and what I've been up to, and you know, a video explaining things for people who don't watch my daily vlogs or who want to understand cerebral palsy better from someone who actually has it, you know, maybe, I don't know, whatever the case may be. So let's get started. Grab your drinks because you're in for a fun one. So first of all, again, my name is Emily. I am 22 at the time I'm filming this, but I turned 23 April 10th. So I guess let's start off. I was born at 24 weeks, and I was born, and then I was transferred to a specialized hospital, obviously, because I was super small. I only weighed 1 pound 10 ounces. Actually, on a little sign that I have in my room, or I don't have it in my room anymore, I used to, it's in my memory box or something, it said that I was 750 grams. And just for reference, my birthday is April 10th, but my mom's due date with me was supposed to be August 30th to 31st, I believe. Sometime the end of August. So I was born April, May, June, July, August. 5 months early. And I spent a bunch of those months in the NICU, where I just got a bunch of stuff. I believe I had a feeding tube for a little bit. I believe that I just had a whole bunch of stuff done. I had a surgery when I was little, when I was born. It's called a PDA ligation. It's when a flap in your heart doesn't close all the way. So I just had a little staple put in. I believe that was when I was around 3 months old, because I remember always having the scar. So it had to be when I was super little. So yeah. And now let's get into the topic of this video is cerebral palsy. So obviously, I have what's called spastic diplegia cerebral palsy, which means I have spasticity, and it affects my lower limbs, so my legs. Now, some could argue, or you know, if you were ever a therapist of mine, or if you ever worked with me, you would know that my arms are affected, but they aren't nearly as affected as some other people's. So that's why I don't think that I'm spastic quad, so all 4 limbs, you know, 1, 2, 3, 4. That's why I'm diplegia. So yeah. But on the other hand, I do have right side weakness, which means I am completely weak on my right side versus my left. If I were to do any sort of strength test, whether that be for an occupational therapist or, you know, somebody at the gym, I go to a gym, So, whether that be for anything, I am very weak on my right side. I'm also left hand dominant, which means that I do everything with the left side of my body. So my drinks are usually placed on my left side. I'm sitting in front of me and I have a jar of change in front of me, but instead of grabbing it with my left hand, instead of grabbing it with my right hand, I go across my body and I usually grab things with my left hand, even if they're on my right side. I've always done it. I worked in occupational therapy for years and years and years to try to strengthen my right side. But it just, I don't know, I'm just not strong, I guess. But I do strength exercises at the gym. I lift weights with both hands. I propel my wheelchair with both hands. If I had to, I can hold a coffee cup. I can do things functionally with my right hand. I just choose and prefer to do things with my left, because I know things won't break. I know things won't, slip out of my hand as easily, things like that. Now let's talk about education, I guess, is the next question. I was always in public school. I live in a town that has a great school system. I was always in public school, and I was always mainstreamed, which means that I was with my peers of able-bodied and non-able-bodied alike. I had regular classes, but I had educational support. I had an IEP from preschool to high school, which, if you don't know what that is, it is an individualized education plan, and that just basically gives students with special needs a plan of success, how to help them be successful, and also it gives them modifications to be successful in the classroom, whether that be a special desk, which I've had in some cases, a special chair to sit in, which I've also had in some cases. That could be extended time on testing, which I've had in cases. That could be advance notice of tests, which I've had in cases. That could be being able to leave the classroom 5 minutes early to get to the other classroom, which I've had. That could be help with toileting and the bathroom. That could be having an aide to help you, which are all things that I've had. An IEP could also state, like, if somebody needed, like, like more advanced medical equipment, or like if they had more special needs, it would all be laid out in the IEP. And then you would also have goals. So I believe that some of my goals when I was in school was to, like, walk more and to, participate with the other kids and, like, advocate on my own and, stuff like that. I haven't been in public school in 5-6 years, so I don't remember, but some things like that. I do want to say right now that my parents did a great job of bridging the gap between me and my able-bodied peers. So I didn't really know, other than my wheelchair, that I had anything different than me until I was probably in 5th or 6th grade. So I don't know if that's a good thing or a bad thing. I think that people do what they need to do at the time. And, I think that when I was younger, so like 20 years ago, there wasn't like social media, there wasn't like support groups, there wasn't like bloggers like I'm doing now to share their story. I mean, I know some people with CP who are older than me, but again, everybody's case is different. So what could work for someone may not work for another person. You know what I mean? But again, I don't think that there was social media at the time, and there wasn't like resources to, I don't know the word I'm trying to say, but there wasn't resources at the time to you know, try to, I don't know what I'm trying to say, but I think you get what I'm saying. Anyway, so they did Bridge the Gap for me. I participated in Girl Scouts. I participated in special needs soccer. I participated in a program called Winners on Wheels where we did like adaptive track, and I would roll around the track in a special wheelchair, and I competed in track and field events, and I did a lot in my childhood. I participated in the band when I got to middle school, and then I realized that I couldn't read music without the notes being written in for me, so I quit that. And then I started to sing, and I sang all through high school. And I haven't sang in a choir since, but I'm joining my church choir soon. And I this video isn't really turning out the way I thought it would, because I thought I would be, oh, I know, because I thought I'd be spitting out more facts, which I just thought of some more facts that I could spit out soon. But, it's more of my story, I guess. And I guess I'm like putting a face to cerebral palsy, which I guess is the goal. Excuse me. Allergies. So I guess next we can talk about some of the surgeries that I've had. And again, like I mentioned in the beginning, I've had a PDA ligation. And I don't know if you could tell, but on the right side of my eye, I have an extreme, well, I wouldn't say extreme, but you can definitely tell that I have a lazy eye. I don't know the technical term for it, but I know it's not politically correct to say lazy eye, I'm sure, but that's just what I call it. Excuse me. But I have one of those, and when I was little, I had the surgery to straighten the eye, which a lot of people do. It's very common. I actually have a friend who has CP who also has a eye that turns this way. That's what I'm going to say. Like me. And I wear glasses to help correct it, because as you can see, when I take them off, you could really, really tell. But then when I put them back on, it kind of goes straight. So I had the eye surgery when I was little, because again, I don't remember that. The first surgery that I do remember is when I was 5 years old. And for reference, again, I'm 22, so how many years ago was that? I'm not a math major, but somebody can comment that down below. I was 5 years old, and I had a tendon lengthening and a heel cord release. That was my first orthopedic surgery. I've been followed by an orthopedic ever since I've been 3. I'm technically not followed by one at the moment, but I'm not like an active case for her. But if I needed to go back and if I needed something, I could go see her if I needed to. But I don't really need anything orthopedically right now, so that's good. So that's why I'm not really seeing her. And that was when I was 5 years old. I was in first grade, I remember. And yeah, I think that was done over Thanksgiving break, so I didn't miss anything. But I was in the hospital on Thanksgiving, so yeah, that kind of stunk. But yeah, that was my first surgery. And then, knock on wood, I didn't want to make my dog get up. Knock on wood, I haven't had any technically orthopedic surgery since then. But what I have had is a baclofen pump implant and also a baclofen pump exchange where they swap out an old one for a new one. I got it implanted when I was, I want to say, in 8th grade, so I was 13. Again, for reference, I'm 22. So I was 13. It was in the summer of 2010. I got it in July of 2010. And it is the best, absolutely the best decision I've ever made for my life. And I have a video all about baclofen, my baclofen pump experience that I will link down below. But it's literally the best thing that I could ever do. Now, I know some people haven't had the same experience I have, so take everything I say with a grain of salt, but it's literally the best experience that I could ever have. And then I got it replaced again when I was 16. So 22, 21, 19, 18, 17, 16. So 5 years ago. And I'll probably end up needing it being replaced again in the next 2 to 3 years because the battery only lasts around 7 years in the pump. But again, it's one of the best medical decisions I've ever made. Other things that I have done related to my CP is I've done Botox injections. I've done for spasticity. I've done hours and hours and hours and hours and hours of physical therapy, occupational therapy. I've never had speech therapy, which I am very fortunate because I know a few people who've gone through speech therapy, but clearly I don't need it as I'm gabbing on for 18 minutes. But yeah, this video is just basically my cerebral palsy story, and that's where I'm at so far. So, thank you all for watching, and I'll see you next time.